was just a regular American doctor holding on to a philosophy many of us share, that the most balanced person, the one who controls all aspects of life, is the one who wins. I lived collecting experiences, successes, material things. That was all I thought mattered. Then my first daughter was born, Christina. On the very first day of her life, she did something I've never seen in any newborn before. She stood on her own feet. Medically, that's impossible. Newborns just don't stand like that on day one. At first, I didn't think much of it. No miracle, just something strange. But the real message came later. 10 months after Christina, my second daughter was born, and everything changed. Right from the hospital delivery room, she was rushed to the neonatal intensive care unit. Her skin was a shocking deep shade of blue, from her chest to the tips of her toes. Any doctor knows what that means. Her blood wasn't carrying oxygen. It was a critical danger. Ultrasound imaging revealed an extreme narrowing of the main artery coming out of her heart, the one that supplies blood to her body. The blockage was almost total in the middle. This was a death sentence. They told me she needed open heart surgery, inserting a stent to hold the artery open. Even with all the medical technology available, they warned me she might only live a few years, needing repeated surgeries to replace stents as they eventually failed. I knew my baby was suffocating. Her body was starving for oxygen. And as a doctor, I felt completely helpless. One day, overwhelmed with emotions, I left the ICU room and walked into the adjacent prayer room. In my whole life until that moment, I had never prayed sincerely. In fact, I was an atheist. I didn't believe in God. I actually argued against faith. But that day, facing my daughter's life hanging on a thread, I prayed for help. My words were weak, shaky, but honest. If you are there, I need you now. Save my daughter. And if you do, show me the true religion, I will follow it wholeheartedly. I made a solemn vow. If my daughter lived, I would find the right path and commit to it. 15 minutes later, I entered the ICU again. The doctors were visibly stunned. Ultrasound results showed the artery had returned to normal size, completely healed with no surgery or treatment. It was a miracle. No medical explanation. That moment was a turning point in my life. I began a search. I immersed myself in the study of various religions to find the truth. I read about Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism. Nothing satisfied me. Then I turned to Judaism. There was truth in it, some valuable teachings, but there were contradictions that troubled me deeply. For example, I discovered prophecies in the Old Testament about three coming prophets. One was John the Baptist, Yahya. Another was Jesus, Isa. But who was the third? My curiosity drew me to Christianity, hoping to find answers. I studied various Christian denominations: Southern Baptists, Quakers, Orthodox, Catholics, Adventists. I prayed, looked for answers, questioned priests, but fundamental contradictions remained, especially questioning the doctrine of the Trinity. I found that the Bible verses supporting the Trinity didn't exist in the oldest manuscripts. They were later additions or modifications. I believed Jesus was a prophet, that God is one, and that our relationship with God should be direct, without any priests as intermediaries, confessional or otherwise. 2 years of searching left me confused, doubting, hungry for clarity. Then I came to Islam. I studied the life of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the Quran. For the first time, everything fell into place. Islam was the final link in the chain of prophets, confirming the messages of past messengers while clarifying the truth. It emphasized the oneness of God, pure, uncompromised monotheism. Prophets were human, not divine, just like Jesus and John before Muhammad. Our relationship with God is direct. We are personally accountable with no middlemen. I embraced Islam, not because I was wiser or smarter than others, but because God guided me and opened my heart. Years later, I encountered a patient, a woman whose baby had a similar severe heart problem. She prayed and promised God she would change her life if he saved her child. But he did not answer her as he answered me. Her child did not survive. I realized the difference. God had guided me to Islam and given me true sincerity. She failed her test because of a lack of true faith and commitment. If there's one lesson I can share, it is this: no one enters the true path just by their own will or intellect. God guides whom he wills. Pray sincerely. Call on God by whatever name you know him. Ask him to open your heart and mind. If you are genuine, he will guide you. And when that happens, you will find peace you never imagined.